I want you to imagine this with me, because the moment I'm about to describe didn't just happen on a football field. It felt like the universe stopped spinning for a heartbeat. Berea, Ohio, should have been buzzing with nothing more than the sound of cleats on turf and quarterbacks working through routine drills. No one expected history to shift on an ordinary weekday. But today, in the quiet hum of practice, destiny kicked the door down. What unfolded wasn't a highlight reel play or a last-second Hail Mary. It was a brutal, breathtaking reminder that in the NFL, everything can change in a blink. I was there, standing just behind the cameras, watching Dylan Gabriel take his reps like he had hundreds of times before. 5-step drop, progression read, smooth as silk. The kind of drill that quarterbacks can run blindfolded. You almost don't pay attention, it's that ordinary. But then, without warning, Gabriel planted his foot, slid back for his throw, and the world cracked open. He collapsed, not because a defender had leveled him, not because a lineman had missed a block. No, this was worse. There wasn't a defender within shouting distance. His own body betrayed him, violently and without mercy. The sound wasn't a hit, it was a gasp, a collective intake of breath from everyone on that field. Practice didn't just pause, it froze in place like a photograph. Helmets hung limp in men's hands. Coaches stopped mid-shout, their whistles silent. Even the wind seemed to stall. The trainers were sprinting across the grass before the rest of us could process what we'd just seen. And here's the thing, these trainers, these players, they've seen it all. Torn ACLs, broken legs, concussions that shake a man's soul. But the looks on their faces? They couldn't even look at Gabriel. One veteran lineman, a guy who's been to Pro Bowls and seen friends carried off the field, whispered under his breath, "That's it. He's done." Hours later, the MRI confirmed our fears. Season ending. Maybe career-threatening. Dylan Gabriel's fight was over before it had a chance to begin. And for him, that's more than just a lost season. It's the kind of blow that can fracture a young quarterback's entire trajectory. His rookie contract now tangled in insurance clauses and salary cap math. Doctors already muttering about long rehabs and uncertain futures. 12 months minimum. And even then, no promises. Footwork, mechanics, confidence, everything could be altered. But while all eyes were on Gabriel lying on that turf, another story was already taking shape at the edge of the field. Off to the side stood Shadur Sanders. And here's what stunned me. He didn't flinch. He didn't smirk. He didn't celebrate or console. He just watched, calm, collected, unreadable. Then came the moment that will live in Brown's lore. Sanders turned to his quarterback's coach, voice steady, and said, "Everything happens for a reason." That single sentence shot through the facility like a lightning bolt. Some players heard destiny in it, faith, inevitability, maybe even comfort. Others felt a chill, interpreting it as calculated, almost cold. But in the end, none of that mattered. The universe had just handed down a verdict. Shedeur Sanders was no longer the heir apparent. He was the guy. The Cleveland Browns quarterback. Not eventually. Not after a few games. Not depending on competition. Right now. When Kevin Stefanski walked into the press conference later that day, you could feel the shift before he even spoke. His voice carried weight, sadness for Gabriel, certainly, but also the unmistakable tone of a man whose path had been chosen for him. He offered heartfelt thoughts and prayers to Gabriel and his family, and you could tell he meant it. But when reporters asked about the future, about the Browns' starting quarterback, there was no hesitation. No hedging. No, we'll evaluate our options. Stefanski looked out at the cameras and said clearly, "We have full confidence in Shadur Sanders to lead this offense forward." And with that, the Sanders era officially began. The fans didn't wait to react. Within minutes, Twitter caught fire. Justice for Shadur trended nationwide. Browns Nation flooded timelines with equal parts celebration and shock. One fan tweeted, "The universe handled what the coaches wouldn't." Another said, "He deserved the job weeks ago. Fate just made it official." It was savage, emotional, and overwhelmingly in Sanders' favor. Cleveland, a city that's seen its share of heartbreak, suddenly felt the electric jolt of hope. And make no mistake, this was bigger than one quarterback swap. The ripple effects will be felt for months, maybe years. Gabriel's injury creates a cascade of complications for the front office. Insurance clauses will be activated, salary cap adjustments considered. Meanwhile, Shedur's leverage just skyrocketed. Endorsement calls started pouring in before the medical team had even released its official statement. Jerseys flew off the shelves. Sources whispered that Jimmy Haslam himself greenlit a full-scale marketing campaign within hours. Season tickets, merchandise, sponsorships, all stamped with Sanders' name. The Browns' offensive staff wasted no time, either. By nightfall, they were tearing up the old playbook and redrawing it to fit their new QB1. Bootlegs, rollouts, run-pass options, vertical shots designed to unleash Sanders' arm strength and mobility. The receivers were buzzing. Finally, an offense built around the man actually running it. Even the offensive line exhaled. One center reportedly said, "Finally, we know exactly who we're protecting." That kind of certainty is worth its weight in gold in a locker room. But maybe the most telling shift came from Sanders himself. The moment the mantle was his, he didn't bask in the glow or talk about what it meant. He went to work. First in the building the next morning. Last to leave. Extra film sessions. Extra reps with his receivers. Nutrition tweaks. Recovery adjustments. He's squeezing every ounce of potential out of himself because he knows this is his moment, and in Cleveland, moments like these don't come often. Veterans noticed. Coaches noticed. And the team? They're rallying. One grizzled vet put it best. He's not talking about leadership. He's showing it. That's the secret sauce, the intangible that separates guys who flash for a season from guys who change franchises. Leadership isn't declared, it's proven, rep by rep, hour by hour, when no cameras are around. And that's exactly what Shadur Sanders is doing right now. So here we are. A city that's been starved for a savior might have just found one. The Sanders era isn't on the horizon. It's already here, and it's roaring to life. And if you can feel that same crackle of electricity running through Cleveland tonight, you know this. The NFL just got a whole lot more interesting. I need you to feel the weight of this moment. The Ravens, national television, one of the most vicious, unrelenting defenses in the entire league. This isn't just another Sunday afternoon game. This is prime time. This is the kind of stage where reputations are made or shattered in front of millions of eyes. And somewhere in Baltimore right now, defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald is probably hunched over his tablet like a mad scientist, ripping apart last week's game plan, sketching out new blitzes and exotic coverages, traps within traps designed to do one thing: rattle Shedeur Sanders. The Ravens can smell blood in the water. They know this is a rookie quarterback stepping under the brightest lights imaginable. They've been here before. They've devoured veterans. They've made legends look human. And tonight, they're circling, waiting for their chance. But here's the thing that no one outside Berea seems to understand. The whispers coming out of Brown's practice aren't whispers of fear. They're whispers of fire. Coaches are saying Shedur's not just handling the heat, he's thriving in it. His confidence is infectious. His passes are slicing through the air sharper than ever. His field reads are quicker, smoother, cleaner. And when he steps into that huddle now, it feels different. It feels like a switch has been flipped inside him. The moment the decision became real, something inside Shedeur woke up. He's no longer just a talented kid with potential. He's a force that demands the spotlight. And watching it unfold, I can't help but ask myself, isn't this exactly what he was born for? Think about his life for a second. Raised in the glare of cameras. Trained and molded by Dillon Sanders, a man who has lived under pressure and performed on the biggest stages since he was a teenager. Shedeur has been prepared for this moment since he could throw a football. He's been taught to handle the media without blinking, to treat pressure as fuel, to recognize opportunity when it's staring him in the face. And now, destiny has set the table. Fate has handed him this chance on a silver platter. Everything he's been groomed for, every drill, every interview, every high school and college battle, has led to this stage. And yet, Cleveland's brass has shoved him to third string on the Week 2 depth chart. Third string. Let those words sink in. Fans are furious. Analysts are calling it one of the most chaotic quarterback controversies in recent NFL memory. The tension is so thick you can feel it in the autumn air over First Energy Stadium. And make no mistake, Jimmy Haslam knows exactly what's at stake. This is about so much more than wins and losses. This is about TV ratings. It's about sponsorship deals. It's about making the Browns' brand matter again on the national stage. And deep down, Haslam knows there's only one player who can ignite that fire, Shadur Sanders. So why is Kevin Stefanski so determined to keep him chained to the sideline? What is Stefanski seeing or refusing to see that keeps Joe Flacco under center despite a shaky Week 1 performance? Even Flacco admitted he wasn't where he needed to be. And yet Stefanski keeps doubling down. Meanwhile, the kid with the charisma, the swagger, the natural magnetism that draws cameras and fans alike, he's waiting, watching, his helmet sitting heavy in his hands as another opportunity passes by. This isn't just a conservative coaching decision. It's a gamble with the soul of the franchise. Don't think for a second this is going to fade quietly into the background. Haslam is already making moves behind the curtain, feeling the tremors of an approaching earthquake. Colin Cowherd has publicly predicted Shedeur will be the starter by November. And honestly, I agree. If the Browns stumble to 0, 4 or even 1-3 start, the pressure on Stefanski will become unbearable. The media firestorm will be unrelenting. The fan base will erupt. The dam will break. And when Sanders finally steps onto the field, even if it's just for a few electrifying drives, you can bet the eruption inside Cleveland will shake the league. Because this moment isn't just about football mechanics or game strategy. It's about identity. Drafting Sanders was supposed to mean something. It was supposed to be the bold declaration that the Browns were done playing it safe. It was supposed to signal that they were betting on the future, betting on change, betting on hope. 2 weeks into the season, and that promise is already crumbling. Rival franchises are watching like hawks. Whispers are floating across the league. If Cleveland slips, if they mishandle this, there are teams ready to swoop in and steal Sanders away. And let me tell you this, if Sanders leaves Cleveland, he won't just succeed, he will detonate into superstardom. And the Browns? They'll be etched into NFL history as the team that let destiny slip through their fingers. The fans aren't just irritated, they're enraged. Talk radio is a blaze of frustration. Social media feeds are war zones. Outside the stadium, the chants are loud and relentless. Play Sanders or trade him. This isn't simple impatience. This is fury. This is heartbreak. And inside that locker room, the divide is getting ugly. Veterans who've seen the spark Shedeur brings are quietly backing him. Others are clinging to the old ways, to Stefanski's rigid system. That fracture isn't just uncomfortable, it's toxic. It's poisoning the team from the inside out. Let's face it, there are only 2 paths forward now. Either the Browns admit their mistake, fire Stefanski, and hand Shedeur the keys to the franchise like they should have from day one. Or they trade him and spend next decade watching him torch defenses in another uniform. There is no middle ground. That bridge is ash and smoke. And if you think I'm exaggerating, remember this. Reports are already out that Sanders stormed out of the facility after being benched again. Silent, frustrated, fed up. And who can blame him? This isn't just about a depth chart. This is a power struggle. Stefanski clinging to control, Sanders fighting to lead. And now Cleveland is living with the fallout. Season ticket holders are threatening to bail. Fire Stefanski, trends weekly. Sanders jerseys aren't flying off shelves, not because fans doubt him, but because they're sick of watching their team sabotage the future. Inside the front office, panic alarms are blaring. Emergency meetings, league frustrations, finger pointing. And you and I both know how that story ends. Someone loses their job. So here we are, Cleveland, standing on the edge of the cliff. The Browns can either rebuild around the future they promised or let it all slip away and watch a superstar blossom somewhere else. Because Sanders isn't just another quarterback. He's not just a name on a roster. He's electricity. He's the spark. He's the face who can transform a city, a franchise, and a culture. Lose him, and you don't just suffer another heartbreak. You become the cautionary tale, the team remembered for fumbling destiny itself. So I'm asking you, should Jimmy Haslam step in right now and force this issue? Should Shedeur already be the starter? Or has this bridge already burned beyond repair? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe. Because if Sanders explodes in another city's colors, Cleveland will never live this down.